Are you dumping money into Google Ads to try to fill your clinic? Your marketing company's telling you you've got clicks, they're telling you that you've got all this stuff going on, but for some reason you're not seeing more new patients come in. This is what we hear all the time. We've worked with hundreds of clinics around the nation, so this video is going to walk through the 11 reasons why your Google Ads may not be working. So first, there's what you probably think of when you're looking at Google Ads. It's the search-based ads. I search physical therapy near me, physical therapy city name, and you're effectively paying to rank over other people. Then there's the local service ads. And this was more common in like lawyers and HVAC and all of those, and eventually it came over to physical therapy. This allows them to not really go to your website, but more so it's going to be at the top, and they just call. These are pretty much your people that are really, really high intent, but you also may get some calls. Then there's what we call Performance Max. Performance Max means we're kind of looking at a distribution across a bunch of different platforms. So that's actually going to be able to hit it on third-party networks. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be kind of all over the place, and typically is a little bit more video-based than your traditional. And there isn't a one size fits all for clinics. Some areas we're going to run heavy search, some we're going to do performance, and some we're going to do LSA. It sounds simple, but one of the most common things I do see by agencies or maybe just someone trying to run their own ads is you go to search a physical therapy city name, and in reality, you're maybe not even in that city. It shows up. There's no world where that should be showing up. There's no world where I'm actually going to be wanting to do physical therapy over there. And you've now just wasted money for someone that has no chance of actually becoming a customer. The biggest one that's silently killing pretty much 75% of owners is the amount of people who are running ads to a slow website. So nowadays, over 50% of your traffic is going to mobile because that's kind of everybody's default these days. If it was 5 years ago, way heavier on desktop, but we have to be optimized for mobile. Because what happens is if our website's slow, then what's going to happen is they click on the ad, they wait for it to load, they get impatient, they back out, they try to refresh, it still doesn't load, they do it again, it still doesn't work, they go to the person that's right next to you on the rankings and pick them instead. But Google doesn't care. They've already charged you for that click, and you now have paid for someone that had zero chance of actually converting. So if you're a PT clinic owner who's looking for a little bit more help, or maybe you're even just looking for a community where it's not just a bunch of people complaining, making it look like the physical therapy industry is a dumpster fire, like pretty much all the Facebook groups out there, what we've decided to do is create a school group where there is over 1,000 PT clinic owners who are trying to make a difference, not complain about things, but actually find solutions instead of problems, and take our systems that we're using in over 400 clinics around the nation. So that way there's no guesswork, because you can have guesswork, hard work, or you can have a framework. And we know exactly what works, what doesn't. So join our school, use our systems, all free trainings. There's a weekly free coaching call in there. All you have to do is click the link below and join. The next one we see is the amount of people who just don't have negative keywords. So the very first thing you should do is look at all those major key terms that are likely going to show up for the average person, because depending on how you do your search, you may be showing up for a competitor because they're just searching XYZ physical therapy. Well, naturally, someone sees it if they search XYZ physical therapy because we didn't exclude that person's business name. They click on it thinking it's your competitor because they're already scheduled with them. They call you. They're like, hey, I need to cancel my appointment, or I need to do this. And now your front office is not only having to field calls that aren't even people that they could even convert into a patient, but you paid for your competitor. So eliminate those. Look at your other keywords that maybe someone is using that maybe would show up. So physical therapy equipment, physical therapy jobs, and you shouldn't be optimizing for that, because between negative keywords, for competitors, for services you don't offer, or any of those type things, it's so common for me to see the entire budget be gone before you even had a chance of getting in front of someone that could actually buy. The next one that I see a lot is, unfortunately, people are listening to some of these bigger guys from like Digital Marketer or the big guys that are running for like monster agencies. And they're like, you have to run ads for your brand name. And there's times where that does make sense depending on kind of what it looks like. But really what typically happens, we have someone with a smaller budget. They're then paying rank for, let's say your business name is Waco Physical Therapy. You're typing in Waco Physical Therapy. Well, those people already know who you are. They're trying to find you specifically. So you're paying for a click that would have already happened. So again, now you've spent your money there, so you can't spend it on something else. So especially when you have smaller budgets, you have to be very careful on what you're showing up for. Otherwise, Google's good at doing one thing, and it's spending your money, and they will spend it And unless you tell them not to, they'll just keep doing it. The next thing is, because most people don't realize this, but Google is a bidding system. So what that means is I say, hey, I'm willing to spend up to, let's say, $8 for a click on one of these major key terms. Well, if you are saying, well, I actually am only willing to spend $4, sometimes you're showing up on the page, but it's on the very bottom. No one's scrolling all the way down to the bottom. And so you're like, I'm spending this money on Google. I'm occasionally getting a click, but like, I don't know why I'm not getting enough flow. And it's because it is a bidding system. It's going to prioritize the person who's willing to pay. You actually want to show up for number 2. Because if you have better social proof, you have better copy, you have better a lot of those things, you can effectively pay less because you're showing up for number 2, but they're still going to see number 1 and 2 together. So you still get a lot of the search volume without having to overpay for some of these things. The other thing is, a lot of times I'll look at people and they're paying all this money for terms that they're already ranking organically for. It's okay to pay to rank, which is effectively what Google ads are, but you should also be having an SEO strategy to eventually rank for those. So that way, once you're ranking for those, as long as there's not a competitor running Google ads for those terms, well, then why would we keep paying? It's just like the branded ones. They're already searching for my business name. Why do I want to pay Google for the search results I would have already gotten? And then the last one is honestly, we just running to a bad website. So speed aside, just not built for conversions, has way too much friction. It really just isn't optimized, period. And so this is super common because we're just literally dumping money into this website, hoping it'll convert. And there's no world where this ugly thing is going to convert, but somehow we're expecting it to do miracles. And so that being said, I did do a full video on exactly what your website should look like, what you should be doing, how to structure it, how to make it into a conversion machine. So if you haven't already checked out that video, make sure you have. You can see that above here. But really make sure we optimize the website if we're going to be spending money on ads. With this, if any of these sound familiar, like, oh man, I don't know what's going on in my Google Ads account or anything like that, and you'd like us to take a look at yours and see kind of what we could do to improve it, whether it's just to be like, hey, you're not doing this, and you figure it out on your own, or realistically, maybe you want our support. All you have to do is go down below in the description, click the link, schedule a time with one of our growth specialists. We can walk you through everything that's going on, seeing how you can get better results with your Google Ads. Or in some cases, we don't even need Google Ads because you just have some low-hanging fruit in other places. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you haven't already done it, make sure you like and subscribe because we can put out more content just like this.